Woke up early this morning in my bed. I love that song. I love reggae. I love music. Music is my groove. Yes, I'm singing songs all day, every day. It's kind of like my addiction. It's my favorite addiction. Singing songs just all day. Like, if you see me walking around a supermarket, I'll just be there like, hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Oh my God, just stepped on a sharp stone. Alrighty. What are we talking about today? I'm constantly blown away by this reality. It's so not straightforward. It's such a winding road that takes you to kind of where you are. I can't even speak. It's a winding road that takes you to where you're meant to be, and there's so much danger along the way. There's so much to watch out for. So many decisions one has to make on even a daily basis. And whether you like it or not, you are making decisions. There's an economic principle called, what's it called? It's where you trade off opportunity cost. There we go. This is the one principle of economics that stuck with me, because I did a GCSE in economics and I found it quite interesting, but not a lot of it stuck with me. But what did stick with me is opportunity cost. And one of the things that a great business takes into account beyond the cost, the monetary cost, is actually opportunity cost. When you decide to do one thing, you can't do another thing, you know? It's you can't go back in time and change the way you did things. When you do something, you are trading off everything else you could have possibly done. I just remembered, I'd been watching back some of my videos and I've been like sniffing, like, and it's because I've had a bit of an irritated nose recently. I might be allergic to dogs and we have a dog. Not sure, it might be the cold weather, might be that I've just come out of a bit of an illness. But I'm going to consciously limit or not sniff because it's otherwise the whole bloody video is going to be me sniffing, and then it might be off-putting for some of you. So today, the aim of the day, the name of the day is to not sniff. You might think I do cocaine or something with my energy, but I don't. Good morning. You want to get in the video? New venture, new side quest. Yeah, I don't do cocaine. I do like coffee every morning. I used to drink coffee growing up. My mum, she got me into it. She would bring me milky coffee first thing in the morning when I was, when I was a real young lad, when I was a wee lad. And I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know that I was forming a drug addiction and a chemical dependency. Oh, there we go, I just sniffed. Now I'm conscious of it. Yeah, I suppose I developed a taste for coffee, and I suppose the only thing to do is to just keep ramping it up, really. Keep upping the dosage. So it went from milky coffee to, then I'd have a whole cafetiere of coffee in the morning, and this was from a very young age, actually. I'd done a lot of things from a very young age. I became something of an alcoholic when I was a boy as well, because my parents always had like a box of wine on the counter on the side. And maybe when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I started putting my head under the under the tap, and I would drink out of it just throughout the day, little micro doses. I was experimenting with the effects of microdosing alcohol, you could say, and I don't think I knew what I was doing. I didn't know that this was a substance that would alter the chemical configuration of my mind. All I knew was that it tasted damn good, and I kept going back to it. And then I suppose I did like alcohol. I kind of realized, okay, this is probably not good for me. It was my granddad who was living with us at the time, and he made light of it to my parents because he caught me one day, and we kind of had like an intervention. And I was like 8 years old or something, and yeah, from then on, I think they took the box of wine off the counter, and that was it. That was my alcohol dependency out the window. I don't think I was dependent, but I did always tend to drink at family gatherings. You know, when there was alcohol available, I would drink. But I'm not actually like that anymore. I tend to avoid alcohol. The first sort of drugs that I really latched onto were alcohol and tobacco and coffee, really the legal drugs. But I suppose I've shifted now to the illegal drugs. Oh God, I don't do anything bad. I don't do any of the sniffy ones or any of that kind of stuff. I can tell you for a fact, the only drugs I've ever done are cannabis, mushrooms, coffee, alcohol, tobacco, and honestly, I think that's about it. I don't recall taking any other drugs. And I would have alcohol occasionally. You know, I don't like to have any strict drug policies. I don't think it's healthy. I don't like to say, oh, well, this is bad for me, I can't have that. I mean, there's so many things that are bad for you that we are all unconsciously doing on a daily basis that it's not really, I don't think, what we should be focusing on. We shouldn't be focusing on what's good and bad necessarily, more focusing on enjoying what we're doing currently, even if that is having a glass of wine. But we can learn moderation, we can learn to have self-control. And for me, one of the best combinations of life experience is when we can combine self-control with all these experiences that are usually associated with a lack of self-control. For me, that's it's a good balance to have. It's a fun balance. So that's what I mean by, you know, you can really enjoy a single glass of wine. You can enjoy smoking a single joint. You can enjoy a single cup of coffee in the morning. And there's a real beauty in self-control and substances, and just every aspect of life, really. Because these are some of the things that it's actually hardest to have self-control over. It's like sex, you know, it's very difficult to really gain any kind of edge over your natural primal biology. It's quite difficult, but if one can attain this kind of self-control, it really, words don't really do this justice, but I'm just going to say it's like leveling up in the game. You know, when you're a teenager and you first get into the realm of sexual intercourse, it's quite easy to think like, you know, it's just about putting it, you know, going in and out until the magical stuff comes out. But that's boring eventually, that gets boring. And so you've got to kind of be creative and think, well, what can we do to spice things up? And self-control plays a big part in this, you know, not just going straight for the kill, but making it like a bit of theatre, getting into the role. You know, I don't need to go on about this because it's a process of self-discovery, and everyone has different tastes. I'm sure some people, maybe they like going straight for the kill. I don't, because you know that you can do that again and again and it won't be any different. You know, it will just be the same old thing. But you can draw these things out. You can add an element of theatre to what you're doing, and it really spices things up. And I like the idea of spicing things up. Yeah, I was talking about something earlier that I wanted to go more into, and I've forgotten. I do this. I go off on tangents. And then I don't know how to get back to what I was talking about initially. What did I first get going with? The winding road of reality that's not straightforward. Drugs. I don't know what I was talking about. But let's take a moment. It's like 7 degrees outside, and it's giving me a little bit of a buzz. It's giving me a little bit of a kick. It's like, whew, it's making the words come out of me, you know. It's actually putting me into a flow state. That's what I find the cold does. It gives me energy and flow, because if you're not flowing in the cold, you just feel like uptight and rigid. Before I learned how to flow in this reality, I really hated the cold. I'd go outside in the cold and I'd be like, you know, I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. I couldn't express myself. And it was probably because the cold highlighted for me that I wasn't expressing myself from my heart, you know, from my roots, from my core, from my true essence. I was pretending, as it were, putting on an act. And I find that if I'm trying to put on an act in the cold, it makes it ever so difficult. But if I let the words and what I'm doing flow from the heart, it's like the cold really enhances, it really brings out more expression within me anyway. And I like anything that does that. Anything that can bring out any more expression within me is a beautiful thing. Yesterday I was thinking, these videos, as much as I love the fact that people may benefit from me just being me and, you know, expressing my genuine values and principles and how I see the world, as much as I see that could be of value to other people, it's of great value to me, because I'm going to change. Undoubtedly, I'm going to look back on these videos that I've been making the past week. I'll look back on them in a year and think, bloody hell, like why was, like, you know, what was my thought process? Or like, how have I changed so much? And it's so interesting. I look back on, it's why I think social media is so interesting, because it gives you, it's like an online journal, and it gives you something to look back on, to reflect on. Morning. And that's really useful, actually, because it's easy to look back on your past. It's easy to look back on your memory of what you were like and say, oh my God, you know, what was I on back then? But if you have like an online or a physical journal, I keep a physical journal, and obviously this is like an online journal, like a video document journal. And I like the idea of keeping as many forms of journal, whatever, as possible, because I can get a better idea of where I've come from. Because I was thinking the other day, like, how did I fucking end up here? You know, my memory is a little bit hazy, if I'm being honest. My memory of all the events that led up to this moment is a little bit hazy. I'd struggle to tell you what happened a couple days ago, because it's not really what I value remembering. I have a specific value system, and that ties right into my memories. As I've witnessed, you know, it's not like I program my mind in a computer console or something. No, my mind has been programmed over time to remember certain things and not other things. You know, I wouldn't be able to tell you what I've been eating the past days. When I go out of my house, I don't remember locking my door, and that sometimes makes me feel like, fuck, I might have left it unlocked, but I never do. I always end up going back to my door, and it turns out that I haven't left it unlocked at all. But what I'm saying is that your values, my values, actually affect my memory. They affect what I remember and what I don't remember. You know, I remember people's names. I remember a lot about other people's life stories. I don't remember much of my own life story though. That's the hilarity of it. Possibly because I haven't in the past, or even currently, I somewhat value other people's experiences more than my own, because, you know, I feel like all of my experience, my personal experiences have kind of, they have gone into my programming as the way I act, as what I talk about, as who I am right now. And so I can let go of the memory itself while taking the wisdom from the experience, if you get my gist. So if you ask me, well, why are you doing this? Who are you? Where did you come from? I wouldn't be able to give you an answer. But I can just be myself, and over time you'll get to know who I kind of am based on how I present myself right now and what kind of experiences might have led up to it. I don't want to go on about me, because it's not something I find of huge interest. But I'd love to see more online journals, more public. You know, I'd love to see other people's private lives, kind of on the internet. I know that exists to a degree, but it's kind of fake. Like, people do vlogs and they're like, yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about nature, and it's like, I don't believe you, mate. I don't believe that's who you actually are, you know. A lot of people do YouTube, make videos because they're trying to imitate something or gain a following around a particular niche because they think that's cool, but it's not them. It's not authentic. Oh yeah, thank you. And I intend to really, I suppose, start this is a vlogging channel, because it is a video log of the events of my life. And I hope to slowly make these videos of more interest and get other people involved in these videos. I'm planning on going traveling. I want to travel the world. And so I would love to take you guys with me and kind of show you guys my evolution, as it were, over time. Because I think that's very interesting. If I'm making a 45-minute every day for the next year or so, that would be a great piece of art in itself. Because not only would I be able to look back and see where I've come from, what I was saying a year ago in great detail, and get a real idea of my story arc. For you guys, this would be bloody interesting as well, because I can't help but be myself. I can't help but be my sort of most authentic version of myself in any one moment, because I've experienced the majority of the pain and suffering in my life through not being true to myself, and it's really hit me in the face, that fact. So I can't really do anything other than just be my absolute most authentic self in this very moment. And believe me or don't believe me, but that is the truth. But change is always happening, and I will inevitably become different over time. I will inevitably evolve as a person. I will inevitably, get myself wrapped up in all kinds of things, probably. But it would be a bloody interesting journey to take myself on and to take you guys on it as well with me. I really don't know what the topic of this video is. I don't know what I'm going to title this video. Maybe like the journey or something. I don't know. I don't know. But I love this format. I love the wonder. I love the wonder of it. I love the fact that I don't know what I'm about to say. I don't know what video I'm going to make tomorrow. I don't know what the vibe is going to be. I don't know what the vibe is going to be in the next minute, And I love that. I love that aspect of my life. And that aspect is really becoming the main part of my life. There aren't many moments in my life where I don't feel a certain sense of wonder, because I've gone, I guess, deep into storylines. I've gone into, I took all the quests, and I kind of went right into them. And as you go down a quest line, you kind of level up. In a sense, it is leveling up, and you're faced with more important decisions. You gain more experience, you gain more power to affect reality. I often find myself in situations where I know for a fact if I don't choose my words carefully, it could result in not a very good outcome. And all these types of things, or you'll be sitting there knowing something that no one else knows, and if you revealed that, it would affect reality. And there's a beauty of the fact that what's in our heads, no one knows about. It's really what comes out of here that is of great importance. You can juggle many ideas in your head. You can have many fantasies in your head, many imaginings, and it doesn't matter really, so far as it affects you. If you've got a lot of bad ideas floating around in your mind, that might be affecting you in a negative way, because what you have in your head is quite possibly going to manifest at some point along your path. You won't know how, you won't know what you're doing, you won't know why you're doing it, but it's all building up to this bigger picture that is something that is tied into your values and everything you stand for and how you go about your business. All these things, everything's tied together, just like the body. In the human body and the mind, everything is connected to everything. In reality itself, everything is connected to everything. So you can't get away with having, bad intentions and then turn out to be a person who seems to have you can seem to have good intentions and be riddled with bad intentions. That's often how it works. We see people who are squeaky clean. I don't want to name any names, but there are many people who appear to be very well-intentioned, and that's often part of the act. of having quite bad intentions at your core. But there are people who appear to be, you know, a little bit all over the place and maybe have bad intentions, but I have quite a good judge of character, and I'm telling you, well, I'm really reminding myself that nothing really is as it seems, and the people who you want to watch out for usually are the ones who seem to be squeaky clean, and the people who are generally more trustworthy and true to themselves are the ones who are a bit wayward, the ones who say the wrong things sometimes, the ones who aren't always showing themselves in a particular way. Because how you present yourself is literally a manifestation of exactly what you value in life and what you want. And your mind is like a ship. Your whole being is like a ship, and you are the captain of the ship. And you set an intention, and your crew do the heavy lifting in the background. We all know that, I hope we do, that the mind is, let's say, 5% conscious, 95% subconscious. Most of what goes on in our minds is happening below deck. You know, we're the captain steering the ship, and a lot of the heavy lifting is going on without you being fully aware of it. And that's a beautiful fact, because it means that we don't have to consciously know what we're doing to know that we're doing the right thing. All we have to do is say to our crew, look, this is what I value, this is where I want to go, and then have faith. Full stop. There's always room for doubt, but you know, imagine you're a captain who says, right, we're going to go in this direction and this is what we want. But then you're on the journey, the crew is doing their best, and then you're on the journey, and then you start saying, hang on guys, I don't know whether this is going to work out. I'm not sure about this direction. You're instilling that same doubt into your crew members, which is not productive at all. You know, everyone has doubts, everyone has self-criticisms, but you gotta let it roll off. I love this expression, roll off like water off a duck's back. I think that's the correct way of saying it. But we've got to learn techniques to really allow these negative feelings to pass through us. Otherwise, they hold us hostage. They're like pirate ships. We're in a sea of consciousness, and there's you and your intention and your crew. Everyone's got a crew, and there are pirate ships that come along in the sea of consciousness, and really they try to attack, you know, and you've literally got to let them come through. You've got to be strong and flexible and adaptable and all those things, and expect pirate ships to come through, because they will, and they're trying to rob you. They're trying to rob you of your values and where you really want to go. Right, bloody hell, that was a bit of I don't even like to say tangent, because tangent has a negative connotation, and in mathematical terms, a tangent is a very beautiful concept. To go off on a tangent is really to be quite natural, to stick to one line of thought, or to try to hold yourself to a particular personality, or, you know, I'm this and that, is really quite unnatural, and it doesn't really feel good. It doesn't feel good to me to really hold myself to a particular line of thought or be a particular person. It feels good to explore the ocean, the sea, whatever you would like to call it. At the end of the day, words are, I keep burping. At the end of the day, words, when I stop burping, at the end of the day, words are just words. And you can get very, very skilled at using words. It's a beautiful art form. It's one of my favorite art forms. Words, language. It's the thing I do really most. It's what I can do for hours a day. I can talk and talk and talk. I can write and write and write. I love conversating with people, and it's my favorite really form of art at the moment. And what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't matter how good you get with words, they are still just words, and the words are not so important as the meaning that you attach to them. You know, people say, oh, you've got to be very careful about, you know, how you talk about things or talk about yourself. But the words are hollow on their own. It doesn't matter what you say, it matters what you feel when you say it. And this is a point that a lot of people miss. And it actually makes us more vulnerable. It makes us more open to being attacked by the pirate ships, because the language of pirates is usually going to be words, because a pirate doesn't have the ability to make you feel a certain way. They're not fucking, they don't have magical powers. But in a sense, words are magical and they are powerful because of the meaning we attach to them. And oftentimes in a world full of words that are literally trying to control you and manipulate you and take you away from your true nature, we've got to come back to the fundamental understanding that words are just words, and they are hollow until you feel an association with that word. And you know, a lot of the world's dramas seem to be fueled by people's perception of words, which is quite funny if you ask me. You know, I'm British, you're American. It's a long way from the truth. We're all on a level playing field. That's the truth. There are no levels in reality. I know I talked about levels. I talk about levels because it's a fucking interesting concept. It's cool. You know, I'm not here to make life boring. I'm here to make life interesting. And so I love to create language around the experience of reality itself. That is beautiful to me. That is my favorite form of expression, to create language and give that language meaning and feel what I'm talking about. I'm not just saying stuff here. I have feelings and imaginings and fantasies and all kinds of things in the sea of my consciousness. And really all I'm doing is directing those feelings and fantasies and whatnot into words that seem appropriate. And you've got to be careful about your words, because words do have power. They really do. In a world where we are full of associations and can't seem to detach from that, your words have power. Your words have power over other people. Your words can have power over you if you're not careful. But I want to clear this up. Your words don't have power if they aren't from a place of true intention and feeling. Just as other people's words don't have power over you unless you attach a meaning to them. You know, when someone says you're this, you're that, you can take it to heart very easily. I know, because I've always stepped outside of the norm. I've always gone against the grain, and I've had people telling me all my life, you are this and you are that. And I believed it for a long time, and then I had a little bit of a radical turnaround. I learned some new words. I learned a whole new vocabulary. I tell you what, a book that really opened my mind was The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And I started playing with this and realized, holy shit, I am the person that I am because, or I'm portraying myself in this particular way because I've believed the words that people have said about me. Because I didn't realize that the words were meaningless until I attached my own meaning to them. I didn't realize that very simple fact. And the more I've realized, literally realized that fact, that words are hollow until you attach a meaning to them, the more I have been able to detach myself from words altogether as something that holds a bearing over me, and the more I've been able to use words as an art form. Words are my favorite kind of art, and they're so relevant in the world right now. Words are everywhere. They teach literature and arithmetic at school as like the first and foremost things, even though if you think about it for a second, there are no words in nature, and words have never been of great importance in the natural world. Animals do not use words to communicate with each other. They use natural means. They use everything but words to communicate with each other. And humans do this too, but we've become so wrapped up in words and superficial things that we forget that the real communication is done in other ways. Woo! So I just saw one of those hoverflies. There's so much to talk about. There really is, and that's why I'm going to have to make one of these videos every day, because to ultimately fulfill my my true nature and to fulfill what I love doing, why would I not make a video like this every day? Because it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. And that comes from a place of feeling when I say that. The feeling is real. The word is what I associate with the feeling. The word, I've given meaning to the words. I've given life to the words through my intention and what I truly feel. It's the nature of art. It has no meaning until us as people breathe life into what is meaningless and mundane. And this is what I've had to do in my own life, because, you know, when you start to kind of, go down the path of like the truth, you realize that everything is meaningless until you breathe life into it. You are meaningless. The mug that I drink coffee out of in the morning is meaningless. Coffee is meaningless. All of this is meaningless. There is no essence. There is none of that. The essence of everything is what we breathe into it, what we feel into it. And so I've started to breathe life into my own life. I've started to breathe life into the mug I drink my coffee out of. I've started to breathe life into coffee itself. And it's so simple. It's so easy to do. You just be, you just be true to your feeling about something. Don't take anyone else's feelings as yours. Don't take anyone else's meaning as yours, because it won't likely work for you. or it doesn't work for me anyway. But if you're watching this video, you're probably not too dissimilar to me in your thought process. I don't know what kind of person is going to watch this video, but if you've made it this far, there's definitely some part of you that resonates with what I'm saying on some level. And what I'm saying is that the beauty of life is breathing your own unique meaning into every aspect of your life. And I don't mean in a superficial way, like putting everything in a box, saying, this is my girlfriend, this is my morning coffee. I don't mean that. I mean going into the experience, the three-dimensional experience, and savoring it and experiencing everything that you can experience. And naturally you will feel something that is not describable in words. Words are just a form of art. Words are not reality. And that, my friends, is what I have to say. And I will keep saying it. I'll say it in different ways, you know. Ultimately, I'm always going to be saying the same thing with different words because that's what I love doing. And ultimately, reality repeats itself with a different appearance, different skin. You know, there's nothing new under the sun. That's what they say, and it's true. It may look new, but it's not. It's not entirely new. It's new in the exact way that it happens, but it's not new. It's not really new. The whole architecture of it has been around for a long time, and it works like this. This is how it works, you know. You can't go beyond the laws of nature. We can try, and that's a good line of inquiry to see, can we really go beyond the laws of nature? Be interesting to see if we could. Just saw a black squirrel. Bloody hell. Must be a sign of good luck. That's me breathing life into something that could otherwise be mundane. Oh, it's just a black squirrel. What's that doing there? No, it's not just a black squirrel. It's a symbol of good luck. And I'm not just saying good luck in a hollow sense. I'm breathing meaning into it. I'm saying it's significant, you know. There's a significance about the cup of coffee that I'm drinking in the morning. There's a significance about the people you meet throughout the course of your life. There's a significance about you watching this video right now. There's a significance about me making this video right now. Everything is a whole lot more significant than you can consciously ever understand. And a lot of drugs do have a habit of opening people's eyes to this significance, but often it's too much. Often the real significance of everything blows people's minds and they'll never recover. They will never be able to see things in the same way. And to the uninitiated mind, it's not easy to come back from that. But if you know this and you're lost and you're thinking, what do I do? Then make, do, act, be what makes you feel good. Do what makes you feel good, you know. And you'll learn, you know. You can't overdo things without learning a lesson somewhere, you know. You can't be a drug addict without learning a lesson somewhere. And don't compare yourself to other people. You know, other people are on their own journey that is entirely different to yours. But I've gone overboard in many ways in my life. And in going overboard, I have developed self-control beyond what I ever thought was possible. Because I have real meaning in my life. Self-control is meaningless without meaning.